All right, let's jump into something pretty important for anyone in ABA, especially if you're into organizational behavior management,
Okay.
behavior-based safety or BBS,
BBS.
and how to make workplaces safer.
Yeah, BBS. What's really interesting to me is how it's evolved over the years.
Okay.
It's not just about like fixing a problem after an accident.
Right.
It's about like what even makes those unsafe behaviors happen in the first place.
Yeah.
And then using, what we know about behavior change to like actually create a culture of safety from the get-go.
That's so important. And we've all seen those like old safety films, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like that one from General Motors in the 1950s.
Yeah.
Where it's like carelessness. Like every accident is because of carelessness.
Right.
It's almost funny now.
Yeah.
But it shows you like how far we've come in understanding safety.
Totally. I mean, those early BBS programs, they had the right idea.
Yeah.
But they didn't always hit the mark. They focused so much on what the frontline workers were doing that it led to people saying, oh, you're just blaming the worker.
Right.
Instead of, looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like the United Steelworkers, they were really vocal about this back in 2010.
Yeah.
They were saying these programs ignore the real hazards and the systemic issues.
Right.
They even called it a blame the worker program.
And I mean, think about it. If you're always worried about getting blamed,
Yeah.
are you going to be open about those near misses or potential hazards?
Definitely not.
No.
That kind of environment actually makes things less safe.
Right.
It's like the opposite of what you want.
Yeah.
But thankfully, BBS has evolved. It's become a lot more aligned with like real ABA principles.
Yeah.
And that's thanks to some amazing pioneers in the field.
Yeah.
People like Dr. Beth Seltzer Azaroff.
She's great.
Yeah, she really helped bridge that gap between behavioral science and workplace safety.
It's like we shifted from reacting to accidents
Yeah.
to actually understanding why they happen and then using that knowledge to stop them from happening.
Right. It's about moving from lagging indicators to leading indicators.
Okay. Break that down for me.
So lagging indicators are those things like injury rates, number of accidents.
Okay.
They tell you what already happened, but they don't help you prevent future incidents.
Like looking in the rearview mirror, you can see where you've been,
Exactly.
but it doesn't help you, know where you're
It doesn't help you navigate.
Right.
Now, leading indicators, they focus on proactive measures.
Okay.
They give you a real-time view of how well your safety program is actually working.
So give me an example.
Okay, so like how many safety audits are being done? What's the rate of employee participation in safety training?
Okay.
How quickly are hazards reported and then dealt with?
Gotcha.
These are all things you can track
Yeah.
to see if you're on the right path.
So instead of waiting for something bad to happen, we use what we know about behavior to make things safer right from the start.
Precisely.
I like it. So how does this actually work? Like, what are the steps?
Well, there's this 5-step process.
Okay.
It's often used in BBS, and it really shows those core ABA principles.
All right. All ears laid on me.
All right. Step 1 is pinpointing.
Okay.
This is where you figure out your safety goals and then identify the specific behaviors that are helping or hurting those goals.
So it's not enough to just say, we want fewer accidents.
Right.
You got to be specific about what people are doing
Exactly.
or not doing.
Right.
That's leading to those accidents.
We got it. Like, let's say your goal is to reduce hand injuries while using a specific machine.
Okay.
So instead of just saying, be careful, you pinpoint specific actions, like making sure the machine guard is in place before starting.
Gotcha.
Even if it slows things down a bit.
Really breaking it down.
Yeah. Getting into the nitty-gritty details.
Okay, so that's pinpointing. What's next?
Step 2 is measure. This is where you track how often those pinpointed behaviors are actually happening.
You can't improve what you don't measure right.
Exactly.
But how do you measure this stuff in a workplace?
Well, there are a few ways. Sometimes it's like formal observations where someone trained watches for those specific behaviors. Other times it might be self-monitoring.
Self-monitoring.
Yeah, especially for managers.
Wait, so managers are monitoring themselves?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, they might keep a checklist to see if they did their safety inspections or if they gave positive feedback to employees following the rules.
So everyone's accountable.
Yep, from the top down.
I like that. All right, what's step 3?
Feedback.
Feedback, okay.
This is where you give regular and visual feedback on how everyone's doing.
Okay.
Like charts and graphs.
Oh, yeah.
Even a simple whiteboard can show the team's progress.
Like those feedback boards they used in that plan in Iceland.
Yeah.
I read about that. It was really effective.
It can be super motivating. When people see how they're doing, it keeps them going.
And that brings us to
Step 4.
Positive reinforcement.
That's right. This is where the behavior change magic happens.
Okay, so do we just give people bonuses every time they put on their safety glasses?
Not necessarily. While tangible rewards can be part of it,
Okay.
the most powerful kind of reinforcement is social.
Social, okay.
A sincere thank you from a supervisor, public recognition for doing a good job, or even just acknowledging someone going above and beyond for safety.
It makes people feel valued.
Exactly.
For prioritizing safety.
Right. But we got to be careful here.
Okay.
We read about that plant manager who basically threw a toaster at an employee.
Oh, what?
And was like, here's your damn toaster, now get back to work.
Oh, my God.
That's not reinforcement. It's awkward and maybe even punishing.
Reinforcement should feel good, right?
Absolutely.
And be genuine.
Yes. And lastly, step 5 is evaluate.
Evaluate, okay.
This is where you look at the data. See if the program is working.
Right.
And make changes if needed.
So it's not just set it and forget it.
No, it's an ongoing process.
You're always checking and making sure things are good.
You got it. Evaluation is about asking questions.
Like what?
Like, are we seeing fewer accidents and injuries? Are employees engaged and feeling good about it?
Yeah.
And if not, then it's time to troubleshoot.
Okay.
Maybe revisit those pinpointed behaviors or tweak the reinforcement system.
Right.
It's all about learning and getting better.
So this 5-step process seems really thorough.
Yeah.
But you said before that BBS isn't just about the frontline workers.
That's right.
What about the managers? What role do they play?
Management's role is super important.
Yeah.
It's about creating a culture where safety is at the top of everyone's minds.
And that starts at the top, right?
Right. It starts at the top.
Okay, so what does that look like, practically speaking? Like, what can managers actually do to make a safer workplace?
That's a great question, and there's a lot to talk about there. I think one of the biggest things is making sure that, company policies and procedures actually support safety,
It seems obvious, but I bet there are tons of places where what's written down doesn't match what actually happens.
Absolutely. Imagine a company that really pushes for production goals, but doesn't give people enough time to follow all the safety steps.
Right.
That kind of conflict is just asking for trouble.
It's like they're saying safety is important.
Yeah.
But their actions say something different.
Exactly. So you got to make sure everything's aligned, from the company policies to performance reviews.
Yeah.
Safety needs to be baked into all of it.
It can't just be empty words.
No way.
Yeah.
And beyond policies, managers need to make sure employees have the right tools and stuff.
Or resources.
Yeah, to do their jobs safely.
So that means?
That means well-maintained equipment.
Okay.
Proper protective gear.
Yeah.
And clear ways to report hazards.
So no one has to choose between, doing their job and not getting hurt.
Exactly. It also builds trust.
Okay.
If an employee knows they can report a safety issue without getting in trouble, they're more likely to actually speak up.
It makes sense.
That open communication is so important.
It is.
It's about making everyone feel like they can help make things safer.
I like that. And managers also have to, walk the walk, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Not just talk the talk.
Absolutely. If they're cutting corners on safety, employees are going to think it's okay for them to do it too. It's leading by example.
Yeah.
And it's powerful stuff.
It is.
When managers build that kind of environment.
Where safety is a priority.
Right. You know what happens.
What?
Employees actually want to participate in safety stuff.
That's great.
They see it as everyone's responsibility.
Yeah.
Not something being forced on them.
So it's a safer workplace, fewer accidents, lower costs.
Exactly.
And happier employees.
Happier and more productive.
And it all goes back to those ABA principles.
For sure. It's all about understanding behavior.
Yeah.
And using that to create positive change.
Whether it's teaching a new skill or making a workplace safer.
Right. It's all rooted in ABA.
Okay, so we've talked about the ideal situation.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, what are some of the challenges that ABA professionals might face when trying to implement BBS?
There are definitely some hurdles.
Okay.
I think one of the biggest ones is resistance to change.
Yeah.
People get used to doing things a certain way.
Yeah, we're creatures of habit.
And even when the changes are good, there can be pushback.
Especially in places that have done things the same way for years.
Right.
We've always done it this way mentality.
Exactly. It can be tough to overcome that.
You can't.
It's not about forcing people.
Right.
It's about understanding why they resist.
So maybe they don't get the benefits of BBS.
Yeah.
Or they see it as just one more thing to do.
That's a common one. So we have to communicate. Well,
okay.
Explain why BBS is good not just for the company, but for the employees themselves.
It has to be more than just words, though, right?
Absolutely.
Like getting employees involved early on.
Yes. Getting their input.
Yeah.
Addressing their concern.
Make them feel like they're part of it.
Exactly. What about getting management on board?
Yeah. Is that ever a challenge?
Oh, it can be.
Okay.
Some managers might be skeptical.
I can see that.
They might think BBS is just another program that's going to waste time and money.
Especially if they've tried other things that didn't work.
Right. They might be a little jaded.
So how do you convince them?
Well, that's where the evidence comes in.
Okay.
We got to show them the data.
Yeah.
Share case studies of successful programs. Really highlight that return on investment.
Okay.
This isn't some fluffy program.
Yeah.
It's a real strategy with a proven track record.
It's about speaking their language.
Exactly.
Showing them the impact on the bottom line.
Right. But even with buy-in from everyone, implementing BBS takes a lot of effort.
It's not a one-time thing, is it?
No, it's continuous.
You're always monitoring.
Yes.
Giving feedback.
Making adjustments.
To make sure things are working.
Exactly.
That's tough in any workplace.
It is.
But especially in those fast-paced ones.
Yeah.
Where priorities change all the time.
It's easy for safety to get forgotten.
When there are deadlines.
True, but those deadlines don't matter.
Yeah.
If people are getting hurt. The benefits of BBS, both for people and the bottom line, are way more important than the challenges.
And those challenges are impossible to overcome.
Exactly.
Good planning, communication, and a commitment to improvement. BBS can make a real difference.
Absolutely.
Create a culture of safety.
That's the goal.
You know, this is making me think about how BBS can be used outside of work.
Oh, that's a great point.
Not just in factories or construction sites.
It goes beyond that.
Those main ideas.
Yeah.
Pinpointing behaviors, measuring, feedback, reinforcement.
Yeah, incredibly versatile.
Like in clinical settings.
Yes.
Schools, even our own personal lives.
Exactly. So much potential.
Let's talk about that more.
Okay, let's dive in.
Okay.
So let's say you're working with a kid who has trouble focusing during therapy.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
We've all been there. So instead of just trying to make them stop doing those off-task behaviors, we could use BBS to figure out those specific on-task behaviors we want to reinforce.
So instead of saying stop fidgeting, we'd be like, look at me when I'm talking.
Exactly.
Or keep your hands in your lap.
Yes. And we'd track how often they do those things.
Okay.
Give the kid feedback. Maybe even use a visual chart.
Okay.
So they can see their own progress.
Right.
And then reinforce those good behaviors with praise. Or tokens. Or even letting them do a preferred activity. It's like you're encouraging them to stay focused.
Right.
Because they get recognized and rewarded for it.
Exactly. And this can go beyond just one-on-one therapy.
Okay.
Think about a classroom.
Oh, yeah.
The teacher could pinpoint behaviors like raising your hand before speaking. Finishing assignments on time.
Okay.
Participating respectfully in group discussions. They could even set up like a point system.
Oh, yeah.
Where students earn points for doing those things.
Okay.
And then they can trade those points for privileges or rewards.
So it's a more positive learning environment.
Yeah.
Where they're encouraged to make good choices.
Exactly. And here's the cool part.
What?
This isn't just for kids.
Oh, really?
We can use this for ourselves, too.
You mean like to reach our own goals?
Exactly. Say you want to exercise more.
Okay.
You could pinpoint specific behaviors, like...
Like going for a walk every day.
Yes. Or going to the gym 3 times a week.
Okay.
And then track your progress.
Yeah.
Maybe with a fitness tracker.
Or just a calendar.
Okay.
And don't forget the reinforcement.
Right. No, reward.
Give yourself something for being consistent.
Okay.
Maybe buy a new book.
Yeah.
Or just relax guilt-free for a bit.
You got to find what motivates you.
Right.
And use it to your advantage.
It's amazing how these simple ideas can work in so many areas of life.
It really shows you how powerful ABA is.
It does.
Well, this has been a super insightful deep dive.
It has.
Into behavior-based safety, and ABA in general.
Absolutely.
We talked about the history of BBS, the steps to make it work, and even how to use these ideas in different places.
I hope everyone listening learned something.
I think so.
About how behavior analysis can make things safer, more positive, and more productive.
At work and in life.
Exactly.
So as you go about your day, think about how you can use these principles.
Make a difference.
Whether you're at work at home,
or just out and about.
Think about it. Could focusing on those safe behaviors, instead of just reacting to unsafe ones,
that's the key,
be the key to a truly safe and positive workplace?
It could be. And how can you use these tools to shape behavior and reach your goals?
In all areas of your life.
That's something to think about.
It is. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Into behavior-based safety. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.
And those behaviors changing.